This is an interesting story because, listen, it's funny. I literally talked about her on Monday's show, Caitlin Clark. I said Monday that she is the face. Bron and Steph are just about done. She is about to, in the next year and a half, 2 years, be the face of basketball. Not the WNBA, basketball. She is more marketable than Shea, Jokic, Ant, even Giannis to a degree. Like, she is more popular than those guys with respect to them. It's the game. It's the controversy. It's the story about how the WNBA, listen, I've always watched women's basketball for years. I've covered it even on the show prior to Caitlin Clark, but never to this level because of the gravitas that Caitlin Clark brings to the table. And now we have another Caitlin Clark story. This carries shows like mine during the summer when the NFL's dead and the NBA's offseason is in a sense over. So Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever are playing in the WNBA Cup. They advanced to I believe, the WNBA Cup final. They beat the Connecticut Sun last night. And they win 88-71. And Caitlin was really good in the game. But the story stems in the third quarter, mid-third quarter, and we can show you the footage. We might get copyrighted. That's fine. I want to provide the necessary context. So Caitlin Clark, we got the footage right here, is being guarded right here by some player named J.C. Sheldon. Gets her eye poked, and then here comes another player. Bam! Knocks Caitlin Clark to the floor. That was Marina Mabry who knocked her to the floor. And then the ensuing, this is a replay once again. So there's another bump. Caitlin's eye got poked, and then boom! Out of nowhere, Marina Mabry knocks Caitlin Clark to the floor, and it intensified in the fourth quarter. Caitlin hits a kind of a dagger three with under 4 minutes to go. She's talking smack. We know Caitlin likes to talk. More on that. She's talking smack to the Sun bench, and she's like, eat some of that. You like that? And then she's like, I'm going to fire up the home crowd here in Indiana. There's more talking. Eat this. Here we go. Indiana crowd, have some of this. We're advancing to the NBA Cup final. We're a championship contender. Let's go. I'm hyping up the crowd. This is what I do. And then just a replay of her going at the Connecticut Sun bench. She's like, you like this? I'm the best player in the world. Screw all y'all. So I have to admit, initially, my take was going to be a little bit different than it's going to be now until I was provided the necessary context. Initially, I was like, just hit her out of nowhere. Like, what are we doing here? Like, those have said, the league has literally a target, like a bounty on Caitlin Clark. I'm like, this supports that argument until I did a little bit deeper, and this is what's not getting played. Second quarter, Caitlin Clark, and J.C. Sheldon are getting into it. Here you go. And Caitlin says, some choice words, and there's a shove there. So there you go. I can do that. I can do that if I want to do. And so that you have to imagine blood into the third quarter. I find, folks, the commentary surrounding Caitlin Clark truly insulting to Caitlin Clark. I mean, truly insulting to her. I mean, folks act as if she is this fragile little flower who, almost like a feel-good story. Like, she overcame unbelievable odds. She'd be like, don't bully her. And listen, I can't speak to Caitlin Clark's personal life. She went through obstacles. Everyone's gone through obstacles to varying degrees to get to where they're at, in terms of success. They don't take into account, whether it's for racial reasons or whatever the case may be, Caitlin Clark's one of the biggest ish talkers in sports. Like, literally. Whether it's in retaliation, as you saw in the fourth quarter, you like that, and she's firing up the crowd, let's go. Or in general, second quarter, this whole thing, by the way, with Sophie Cunningham, who was the Fever's kind of big acquisition from the Phoenix Mercury, they acquire her. She tackles, basically. She's a black belt at age 6, by the way. I would not mess with Sophie Cunningham. She tackles J.C. Sheldon to the floor late in the fourth quarter. There's a scrum. Cunningham's ejected, all of it. Finally, the Fever have their, you can say Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. I've always said this about dynasties. You got to have the enforcer. You got to have somebody step in, and defend the superstar player. And that's what Sophie Cunningham is there for. She's a solid player. A couple of years ago, 2 of the last 3 years, she's averaged double figures. She's fine, but she's an enforcer. That's what her role is for the Indiana Fever. Yet again, black belt at 6. Don't mess with Sophie Cunningham. But one thing I would like to get out of the way, and I hope, oh gosh, if we have any intelligence as a collective society, can we please acknowledge this? Because I know the grifters on the internet would like you to believe otherwise. Can we, if there is, I don't think there is, but let's just say for the sake of argument, that every single altercation, and again, I say this as a Caitlin Clark fan, every single altercation on the floor that Caitlin Clark has ever been involved in, none of them were her fault. It is a league-wide conspiracy. There was a bounty on her. We're going to try and hurt her, all of it. If that is the case, it's not, but let's say it is for the sake of conversation. Can we at least acknowledge that it's not a race thing? That, these black players are jealous because Caitlin, who's white, is getting all of this attention. Guys, that is not the case. The player that poked her in the eye, by the way, after there was a situation in the second quarter between these two, J.C. Sheldon, white. The one that I thought went over the edge and should have warranted an ejection in my mind, this is where the refs blew it, was Marina Mabrey, who just comes in, blindsides Caitlin, knocks her to the floor. White. So can we, I'm begging you. I know everybody, listen, Angel Reese had a pretty good game the other night, but offensively, she has got to improve her game. I've said that. But what I've also said is the bullying that she has dealt with is uncalled for. I know there's a lot of those out there that would really like, not would like to believe, but would like the masses to believe that it's just, it's reverse racism. It's evidence of that. And Caitlin is just going through unimaginable. No, that is not the case. A lot of this, again, and I say this as a Caitlin Clark fan, and part of this is why I do love Caitlin. She instigates some of this. Some of this is fueled by Caitlin herself. And so, I saw this, again, initially I was like, oh man, like that's uncalled for. You don't just poke her in the eye, knock her to the floor. Like, of course, she was justified in yelling at him and cussing him out in the fourth quarter. This whole thing was started by Caitlin. She cursed out J.C. Sheldon and then shoved her in the chest. Doesn't necessarily warrant her being poked in the eye, but you open yourself up to that a little bit. If you're gonna dish, you better take it. So listen, shout out to Caitlin Clark, shout out to the WNBA. Like this is what we want to see. We want to see bad blood. For the record, isn't that kind of the knock on the NBA Finals this year? People say, "Oh, small market." Folks, we've had high-rated finals with small markets before. That's not the issue. The issue is not only do the Pacers and Thunder not like each other, not only do the Pacers and Thunder, they don't love each other. They're trying to win a championship from the other team, but there's no rivalry there. But also, no one hates OKC. No one hates Indiana. No, there's not a David Goliath feel to it. There's not the juice that we see in previous finals. There's no rivalry there. We may have a rivalry. If memory serves me correct, Connecticut knocked Indiana out in the playoffs last year. Now, there's a lot of new pieces there. It's not the same Connecticut team we saw a year ago. They've had a rough start to the season. Indiana, by the way, according to FanDuel, number 3, third best odds to win the championship. And as I said last night in the 8 o'clock spot, the WNBA Finals happens every October. October, we know, is just, it's heaven as a sports fan because every major sport is going. NFL is the king of television. College football is in second. NBA season starts around that time. NHL season starts around that time. And oh, by the way, Major League Baseball's in their postseason. I would not mind to see how a Caitlin Clark Finals rates against the NLDS or NLCS, however, whenever at the point of October it is. Is it off the table that the WNBA Finals would get higher ratings than baseball? That's what Caitlin Clark, she has brought that conversation to the table. Because of her gravitas, because of her star power, because of her Steph Curry-like game. She's like Steph Curry and Steve Nash rolled into one. So, but I think if the sport is going to grow and evolve into the national conversation, which it already is in that, we've got to stop patronizing Caitlin and the other players. Oh, she's a little flower. Oh, no contact. Oh, how dare you go after her? She kind of incited it. And by the way, she's so great of a player. You know what? It's on the board. You know those stories that's been told? Quick story here on the show. Quick little story. I didn't know we were going here. But this is where some of these topics can go sometimes. I won't reveal this person's name. I had a coach. My athletic career was brief. I wasn't very good. Listen, I'll play pickup basketball. Anybody, I can shoot the piss out of the ball. I can't do anything else. I'm a bad defender, can't rebound, can't pass, dribble, and any of that. But in my brief athletic career, I played basketball in high school, freshman year. And I had a coach who played pro ball overseas. Not going to reveal the person's name, played pro ball overseas. He had, and he didn't mention this person's name, he had a teammate on one of his international squads that was with the Bulls and Michael Jordan. And he said that Michael Jordan, and it's been reported, this is not like new, but that Michael Jordan would go to the bars in a city, New York, even Chicago, like, his home city, talk wild smack about the other team's best player. Ewing, Barkley, anybody. Think of the superstars of that era. Malone, Stockton. And say untrue things about them just to fire up the competitive juices so that he gets the best version in the next game. That's been widely reported, but I can say as somebody who played for a guy who played with a guy who played with Michael Jordan, that is 100% true. I say that to say, maybe it was a heat of the moment thing. And this makes it, see, folks like Caitlin Clark for different reasons than I like Caitlin Clark. I'm such a fan of her game and her approach. What if she incited J.C. Sheldon in that second quarter? She's a smart player, Caitlin. She knows that maybe not she's gonna be poked in the eye, but there's gonna be retaliation at some point in the game if this happens in the second quarter. That happens. And it just gets her competitive juices rolling. Then she hits that dagger 3 in the fourth quarter and just saying God knows what to the Suns bench. And it's firing up the crowd. Like, that gets the greats going. Cover Caitlin for what she is and the additional things that make her great other than her unbelievable game. Which, for the record, she's second in both points and assists in her second year in the league, which is unbelievable. Cover Caitlin for what she is, not for this like sympathy figure you're weirdly trying to make, whether it's for racial reasons, whether it's for political reasons, whatever the case may be, whether it's just for sports narratives or sexist reasons, who knows? She's a dog. She goes after the Connecticut Sun like the great competitors in sports have gone at other players, at other competitors. So I love it. I think anyone freaking out over this or acting like, oh my God, Caitlin cussed her out and pushed her in the chest. Like that it started with that. Now, again, for the record, I personally think Mabry should have been ejected. The poke in the eye thing, like that's certainly a flagrant. I think it might have actually gotten upgraded to the flagrant 2, or I think it was Mabry. This happened like just a few hours ago, but one of them, or maybe both of them, had their flagrants upgraded to a flagrant 2. Mabry certainly was. She was not ejected after the blindside shove. Any blindside shove, like this happened with Patrick Beverley and Chris Paul in the conference finals 4 years ago. Like that to me is chicken, you know what? Like if you're gonna go at me, go at me to my face. But I love this. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.